The Adventures of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain. Longman Simplified English Series. Read by Miss Lucilla Pondidum. Chapter 11. On the Islands. When Tom awoke in the morning, he wondered where he was. He sat up and rubbed his eyes and looked around. Then he remembered it was the crew get out, and there was a delightful sense of peace in the deep, calm and silence of the woods. Not a leaf stirred. Dewdrop stood upon the leaf and grass. A white layer of ashes covered the fire, and a blue trace of smoke rose straight into the air. Joe and Huck still slept. Now, far away in the woods, a bird called. Another answered. Generally, the cool, dim gale of the morning wind, and as gallery sound multiplied and life revealed itself. The marvel of nature shaking off sleep and going to work unfrost itself to the boy. A little keen warm came crawling over a dewy leaf. Tom sat as still as a stone, with his hope rising and falling as the creature still came towards him also. A tendency to go elsewhere when it finally came down upon Tom's legs and began a journey over him. His whole heart was glad, for that meant that he was going to have a new suit of clothes, without a shadow of doubt, a glorious piratical uniform. Now, a possession of an appear and went about their labor. Structure with a deal spider 5 times as big as itself, and danger is strength up a tree trunk. A tiny spotter beetle climbed up the grease height of a grass bed, and Tom bent down close to it and says, Ladybird, find a way home. Your house is on fire. You are shooting alone. She flew up to see about it, which did not surprise the boy, for he has long known that the ladybird was always ready to believe stories about fire. The birds were sighing merrily by now. One swept down a flash of blue flame and stopped on a branch almost within. The boy raised its head to one side and eyed the stranger with immense serenity. All nature was wide awake long beam of sunlight pierced down toward the leafy branches, and a few butterflies came dancing upon the scene. Tom lost the other pirates, and in a minute or two they were chasing after and falling over each other in the shallow water of the sandbar. The current had carried of their left, but this only delayed them, since its going was something like burning the beach between them and civilization. They came back to camp wonderfully refused and as hungry as wolves. They soon had the campfire blazing up again. Huck found a spring of clear cold water close by, and the boys made cup of leaf. Tom and Huck stepped to a promising place on the river bank, until in their fishing line, almost immediately, they had their reward. Enough fish for a family. They fried the fish and were astonished, for no fish has ever seemed so delicious before. They did not know that the quicker a fresh water fish is on the fire after it is caught, the better it is, and they did not stop to think that sleeping, exercise, and bathing in the open air had given them an excellent appetite. They lay about in the shade after breakfast, while Huck had a smoke, and then went up toward the woods offering. They found plenty of things to be delighted with, but nothing to be astonished at. They had a swim every hour. So it was about the middle of the afternoon when they got back to camp. They were too hungry to stop to fish, but they had a good meal of meat and chilled themselves down in the shed to talk, but the talk soon began to drag and then die. The quiet that hung over the woods and the sense of loneliness began to have an effect on the spirit of the boys. A vast longing crept upon them. This took themselves presently. It was budding homesickness. Even Finn, the raised hand, was dreaming of his doorstep and his empty barrel, but they were all ashamed of their weakness, and none was brave enough to say what was in his mind. For some time now, the boys had heard a peculiar sound in the distance. One hearing around the sound, the boy star glanced at each other inquiringly and listened. There was a long silence, deep and unbroken. Then a dull sound came floating down and of the distance. What it is? Asked John in a whisper. Let's go and see, said Tom. They sprang to their feet and hurried to the bank facing the village. They passed the brush and peered out. The little stream ferry boat was not transporting people from bank to bank as usual, but was about a mile below the village. Her decks seemed crowded with people. There were many small boats being rowed about or floating with the current in the neighborhood of the ferryboats. But the boy could not see what the men in them were doing. After a time, there was a puff of white smoke from the side of the ferryboat, and as it rose in a lazy cross, that same dull sound was borne to the listener again. I know now, exclaimed Tom. Somebody drowned. What's it? Said Huck. They did that last summer when Bilton was down. They shot a big gun over the water, and that made the body come up to the surface. The boy continued to listen and watch. Then a revealing thought flashed through Tom's mind, and he exclaimed, Boys, I know who are those. We are! They felt like heroes in an instant. They were being waves over hearts were breaking for them, and best of all, they were the talk of the whole town, and the envy of all the boys. His was glorious, it was while being a pirate after all. At twilight, due on, the ferry boat went back to her accustomed business, and the rowing boats disappeared. The pirates returned to camp. They were swollen with vanity over their new importance and the great trouble that they were causing. They caught fish, cooked supper, and ate it, and then began to guess what the village was thinking and saying about them. But when the shadow of night closed around them, they gradually ceased to talk and sat gazing into the fire, with their mind evidently wandering elsewhere. The excitement had gone now, and Tom and Joe could not keep out thought of certain persons at home who were not enjoying their fine adventure as much as they were. A sigh or two escaped an hour. Tom, said Joe, hesitatingly, pirates do go home sometime, don't they? Tom was called upon him, had not said a word on the subject, and was therefore free to join in with Tom. Joe made excuse and firmly denounced that he was suffering from homesickness or that he wished to desert. As the night deepened, Huck began to nod, and presently fell asleep. Joe followed next. Tom lay watching the two for some time. At last he got up cautiously and went searching among the grass in the dim light of the campfire. He picked up the inspected several last pieces of the thin white bark of a tree and finally shoot two. Then he knelt by the fire and wrote something on each of these the pencil. One he rolled up and put in his coat pocket, and the other he put in Joe's cap together with certain invaluable schoolboy tissue, among them a piece of chalk, a rubber ball, three fish hook, and a special kind of marble. Then he tiptoed away.